Thank you so much for joining us. This is the Carroll Foundation Sustainability in Skydiving blog. My name's Pete Allen, and we've been looking at the environmental pillar of sustainability. In my mind, there's three pillars. There's environmental, economical, and social. And I'm pretty excited now to be looking at one of the other strong pillars, which is the social element. And I got a message from a friend of mine, Alex, who we got with us as well today. And he asked me if I would put my name to a letter that him and his group are putting out to the USPA. I said I would be very excited, and it was an honor to be asked. And without much further ado, I just want to introduce, we've got Alina, Christian, Anastasia, and Alex. And guys, I would like to hand over to you. Would you mind giving us a bit of a background about how Camp Unity started off?
So I can probably start. Essentially, so my name is Alina Borovica. I am a jumper of 6 years now, and I live in New York City. Started jumping in Michigan, but I am originally from Riga, Latvia. And overall, how it all came about is essentially in June, protests in this erupted and essentially on Black Lives Matter. And what we saw was essentially businesses and different organizations rushed to put their statements out and support the movement because of severe brutalities against the people of color in the US. And it was really remarkable to see such a fantastic support, and it's kind of a continuous movement right now. That being said, in skydiving, conversation wasn't really there. And, we saw maybe one or two drop zones kind of talk about it privately, but most of the time people were quite avoidant of the conversation. So that kind of bothered us a bit, and essentially we started as a group of skydive the range jumpers to talk about it. It started with one meeting where we, a bigger group than 5 of us, got together and we started talking about it and essentially giving space to each other to really talk about our experiences and, about experiences of people of color, the drop zone mainly, but also of experiences of trans communities in the drop zones and women as well. We only are at about 13% of women, I believe, in the US as jumpers, so it's not very high. I may be wrong about the percentage, but it's still a minority. So overall, I think it's very easy to focus on the positives of the skydiving. It's something that we're really comfortable with. But I think it is important to acknowledge that different people have different experiences, and we need to make space for each other to be comfortable, be respected, and essentially grow as people by supporting each other and growing empathy.
Nice, very clear. Yeah, I've seen similar things in the skating and surfing community as well. That's kind of why it's so good to see it happening as well in skydiving. Any of the rest of you guys, would you like to add to that?
I'll jump in really quickly just to piggyback on what Alina said. Once we started having these discussions, we started to look around and talk to people in our community. Because it is kind of, skydiving has always been, if you ask anyone, it's an inclusive sport, and it's a family, and we support each other. Like if you ask anyone, and even if we make derogatory jokes towards one another, or we poke, we prod, and we tease, it's always in good fun, and it always comes from a place of love, or so we think. That's the general consensus regarding skydiving, and actually all sort of action sports, which have a smaller community. But once we started to reach out to people, current jumpers, previous jumpers, and ask them about their experiences, it turned out that they weren't as rosy as we imagined.
Mhm.
And those people didn't always speak up for fear of, you know, for fear of judgment, maybe persecution. They didn't want to
Didn't want to rock the boat, basically.
themselves, yes, within the community.
Mm.
Exactly. And they didn't feel that they had enough allies around them that they could make a statement, and stand by it. So for me personally, you know, the reason I got involved was to offer support and bring awareness and let minority jumpers know, and all jumpers that feel like the sport isn't for them and that are less likely to continue, to know that we are there for them. The majority are in their corner. There is a minority that is not ideal within skydiving, but if we just raise our voices and we come together as a community and we bring awareness and we host events and we ask people to actually look inward and think about these things and talk about them, we can change the environment and change the climate for those jumpers.
So that's intriguing.
It,
You got the letter that's coming out in November, parachutists, is that correct? And
Yes.
what do you have planned after that? What's coming next? Maybe some of the Christian or Anastasia, you guys would like to jump in.
So one of our immediate to-dos or goals that we want to accomplish once the letter is out is, one, to raise awareness, as Alex already stated, and also just to kind of like give people a platform where they can more or less feel comfortable just speaking up about things they have heard, things they have experienced, or things that they can learn or do better. You know, just kind of just bring everyone together in one place where they can ask questions and not feel judged. You know, we're in this together, we're evolving together. There's going to be mistakes that are going to be made, but you know, I feel like we're in a good place right now where more people are becoming more aware and they're kind of like coming out of the weeds, and it's like, oh, okay, like,
Yeah.
this is a place to speak up. I can say things, I can ask questions, and hopefully we will want to, you know, see people brainstorm with us and just bounce ideas off of each other and see how we can best better the sport in all aspects of it.
Yeah, and I think
Nice.
it's really important to highlight that having a complete drawn out plan for our next steps and actions before we've even taken the temperature of how the community reacts to the statement would be really premature. I mean, that's why to some extent we're not being very prescriptive in the statement. We're just trying to like wedge an opening into a conversation, because it's the silence has been a little bit deafening, just because it's not necessarily that we're saying there is a specific problem, right, in skydiving, right? It's society. So there's, problem in society, and skydiving is part of society. So of course there are problems in it, but it's not a combative statement against skydiving, right?
Yeah.
But you've got jumpers, this year and in the past and in the future who are probably not feeling very well in this really, really difficult year that we're all enduring. And a lot of people come to skydiving for healing. So can we first just baseline a statement of love and acceptance? Can we just like work hard forward and make a statement of unity to make people feel that this is a place where these conversations can happen? Because if it's happening in society, it's probably also happening in skydiving, which is part of society. Once we get those responses, we can start to formulate a plan that's right for this community.
Nice. Oh, nicely said. I really like that. Because as you say, we're a microcosm of society, and we should be a nurturing,
Right.
inclusive environment. And I think it's fantastic. And thank you very much to the folk from Camp Unity. Looking forward to seeing what kind of an impact the letter has. There is a fifth member of the team, and that's Andrew Echeverria. He couldn't make it to the meeting, but he's very much involved. And this is going to be coming out in Parachutists. These guys have put together a page, got some support, and this is from skydivers to skydivers as a message. Thank you for choosing skydiving to do this. It's such an amazing sport, and yeah, we need to actually make it inclusive, not just assume it's going to be so, because a lot of people don't even think there's a problem. So thank you so much for putting the effort in.